Hear what happened?
True crime,
Fine.
we online.
Come check this out.
Tune in, it's about to go down.
So bad.
True crime,
Fine.
true crime, based on real life events. Every story has two sides.
Tell it the truth, tell it the lie.
Them of me, anybody with eyes, they can see that this the truth that I am speaking. Blood leaking, what's the reason? No remorse for the family. Where's the justice? We need peace. Another plot twist this week. Got me on the edge of my seat.
Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of Murder and Cocktails, where true crime meets mythology. I'm your host, Nicole Mitchell-Colley, and I'm here with my fabulous co-hosts, Amber Watson and Lachelle Walker. Hey. Nothing. Today we will be discussing Ronald DeFeo, also known as Butch DeFeo, and the infamous Amityville murders that shocked the nation. Before we begin, we want to remind everyone that this episode discusses graphic content and may not be suitable for all audiences. So grab your favorite libation and let's have a murderously good time. But first, true crime news.
A teenager has been charged with a murder in connection to his father's disappearance. Brandon Perry, 35, was reported missing in May. After an investigation, the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, IMPD, and the Marion County Prosecutor's Office have found substantial evidence to charge his son, David Perry, with his murder. According to court documents filed on June 5th, surveillance footage, DNA analysis, and cell phone tracking provided probable cause for David Perry's arrest. Video from a local Beach Grove Walmart shows David purchasing a red dolly, dustbuster, small fan, seat covers, a candle, a belt, and a small gun safe shortly after he last claimed to have seen his father. 6 hours later, cell phone data tracked David to New Harmony Road, where it crosses under I-69. 4 hours after that, surveillance footage captures David parking and leaving his father's truck in the parking lot of Mickey's Pub on the 5100 block of Emerson Avenue. At the scene of the New Harmony Road, investigators found tire tracks matching those of Brandon Perry's truck. Additional markings were consistent with the wheels of a missing Republic trash can from Brandon Perry's home. Using Blue Star, a chemical agent that detects blood, investigators uncovered that they believed to be a significant amount of blood in the bed of Brandon Perry's truck. Court documents also reveal that Brandon Perry's sister reported multiple conversations with David, in which he allegedly admits to putting his father's body at the bottom of the White River. David also told his aunt the trash can lid was shut and it wasn't going to open. Text messages between David Perry and another individual suggest that he and his father had been arguing before Brandon's disappearance. While Brandon Perry was reported missing by his sister on May 29th, David, who lived with his father, did not report him missing, despite not seeing him for 3 days. The IMPD has enlisted the Indiana State Police dive team to search for Brandon Perry's body. If you have any thoughts or comments on today's story, please reach out to us on social media through our website. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.
On the fateful night of November 13th, 1974, the serene town of Amityville, Long Island, was plunged into terror. A 23-year-old man named Ronald Butch DeFeo Jr. committed an act of violence, shooting and killing his entire family with a .35 caliber Marlin rifle. The victims, his parents, Ronald DeFeo Sr., a car salesman, and Louise, his mother, his sisters, Dawn, 18, and Allison, 13, and his brothers, Mark, who was 12, and John Matthew, who was 7, were all discovered lying face down in their beds, hand raised above their heads, a pose that has since added to the macabre mystique. So, the DeFeo family resided in an elegant Dutch colonial home at 112 Ocean Avenue. They've changed the address since then, by the way, and the windows. Distinguished by its picturesque facade, a statue of the Virgin Mary, and a hopeful sign that read "High Hopes" in the front yard. To the outside world, they appeared to be living the American dream, a successful family in a prosperous neighborhood. However, the tranquility of their home masked a deeply troubled household dynamic. From what I heard, his dad was a real dick. Verbally and physically abusive.
Yes.
On that tragic evening, Butch DeFeo walked into a local bar, Henry's Bar, claiming in a frantic state that his parents had been shot. Several patrons, startled and concerned, accompanied him back to the house. What they discovered was a scene of an unimaginable horror. All 6 family members lay dead in their beds. A call was placed to the Suffolk County Police, who arrived swiftly to find the grisly evidence of the mass murder. Initially, Ronald DeFeo Jr. attempted to deflect suspicion by blaming the killings on a mob hitman, Louis Fellini, who had an alibi proving that he was out of town at the time of the murders. His act was so convincing that he was taken to the local police station for protection. However, inconsistencies in his story quickly emerged, leading to his confession the following day. "Once I started, I just couldn't stop," he chillingly admitted, claiming that voices from the house had driven him to murder his family.
All right. It's time for our favorite segment, Sip and Solve. Grab your shakers and glasses because we're about to mix up a drink that perfectly complements today's mysteries, dark twists, and turns. Today's featured cocktail is the Beach Peach Lemonade, courtesy of the Rooster Saloon. Here's how you can make this invigorating libation. You're going to need 1.5 ounces of Crown Peach, 2 ounces of lemonade, 2 ounces of Sprite, and a splash of grenadine. The instructions: for each cocktail, add Crown Peach, lemonade, and Sprite to a cocktail shaker with ice. Pour into a glass and add a splash of grenadine. Serve over ice and enjoy. Back to you, Nicole.
That's good. Thank you. It's fire. I liked it. Investigations revealed that DeFeo had a history of drug abuse, including LSD and heroin, which may have contributed to his psychotic state.
You think?
Despite using a high-powered rifle, no neighbors reported hearing gunshots, and there were no signs of struggle or alarm from the victims, adding to the eerie and baffling nature of the case. Behind the facade of affluence, the DeFeo family harbored a litany of troubles. Ronald DeFeo Sr., or Big Ronnie, managed an auto dealership, but the family's extravagant lifestyle was largely funded by Louise DeFeo's father, Michael Briganti. Briganti's financial support included purchasing the family's home and commissioning life-size portraits of the DeFeos, which adorned the walls of their home, projecting an image of prosperity and unity. However, Big Ronnie was reportedly an abusive and controlling figure. His eldest son, Butch, bore the brunt of his anger and violence. Butch's troubled upbringing was marked by constant conflict with his father, bullying at school, and a descent into substance abuse. Known as Pork Chop and the Blob by his peers, Butch struggled with his weight and self-esteem. By his teenage years, he had turned to amphetamines and alcohol, coping mechanisms that exasperated his volatile behavior. Butch's relationship with his father became increasingly strained, caused by frequent heated arguments. Despite being nominally employed at his family's auto dealership, Butch rarely attended work and spent most of his time indulging in drugs, drinking, and fighting. These tensions came to a violent climax on the night of the murders when Butch fatally shot his father and subsequently killed the rest of his family in a shocking spree of violence. The trial of Ronald DeFeo Jr. began on October 14, 1975. His defense attorney, William Weber, argued that DeFeo was insane at the time of the murders, driven to commit heinous acts of demonic voices. The prosecution, however, painted a picture of a calculating and ruthless killer. The jury found DeFeo guilty of all charges, and he was sentenced to 6 consecutive terms of 25 years to life in prison. DeFeo's conviction marked a grim closure to the horrific events, but the story was far from over. The questions surrounding the lack of struggle and the silence during the shootings persisted, fueling speculation and intrigue. In December 1970, just a year after the murders, the Lutz family moved into the DeFeo home. George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 children, were drawn to the large house, unaware of the full extent of its dark history. Within 28 days, they fled the residence in terror, claiming it was haunted by the spirits of the deceased DeFeos. They reported a series of disturbing events, from green slime oozing from the walls to windows shattering spontaneously, and even members of the family levitating in bed. Their experiences became the basis for Jay Anson's book, The Amityville Horror, published in 1977. The book's portrayal of the Lutz family ordeal catapulted the Amityville house into the realm of American folklore. A 1975 film adaptation further cemented its status as an iconic horror story. The tale of the haunted house captivated the public, spawning over a dozen films and a legacy of paranormal fascination. Let's talk about some of these damn movies.
Here we go.
Looking some of this up, right? And some of the most recent movies, which I'm pretty sure went straight to TV or Tubi or Freevee or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Amityville in Space.
Right.
Amityville Karen. Amityville Thanksgiving. Amityville Slasher. Amityville Apocalypse. Amityville Bigfoot.
Next thing you know, they're gonna come out Amityville in the Hood.
No, I promise you they have one. It is one. Amityville in the Hood. Amityville in Space. Amityville Prison.
My God.
Like, the fuck.
They're gonna have to come out with some outright lavish, like, movie, like, don't drink orange juice while riding in the hood or something like that, and then they're gonna have to put Amityville somewhere in the middle.
Like,
did I even get the title right? Because I mean, it was the most. Yeah.
Everyone saw the Amityville Horror Story.
Really?
I haven't saw all these extras.
So
like
there's
the
no.
Amityville Karen.
I don't think they're worth watching because it doesn't
personally
personally
like them.
Really?
I mean, some of the ones that come out, some of the ones that. What was the one? It was one that came out recently that I really didn't care for, but
is that the remake of the Amityville Horror that you didn't care, or the one after that?
It was one after the Lutzes left. Yeah, I think it was after that. Like, I lost. Like, after the Lutzes, I was done. Like, I didn't want to see anymore.
Right?
Stupid. It's just like, okay, how y'all reaching? Y'all are so reaching.
Yeah, because I think I saw the one where they made it to where they went down into the basement and they saw the opening where the house, I guess, supposedly was made for the devil and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the movie.
in the basement, like they took the rock wall like down, and there was like this the long dark hallway that had like cells and yeah.
See, now I'm glad
And
to go
so
back and
that's
watch
why.
some.
And
I
so
don't
that's
know
why. I can't remember which one it was, but that's why Ronald DeFeo or whoever, said he was hearing voices because they think the basement was used for satanic reasons.
So, a description of Amityville in the Hood. An East Side gang uses the Amityville property to grow marijuana when they are attacked by a rival gang and their drugs stolen. Soon, it's unleashed on the west side streets of Compton, where anyone who smokes it suffers one killer buzz. What the fuck?
The first Amityville Horror.
Plex, Tubi, and Prime Video. You can rent it for $3.99 on Prime. I'm paying $9.99 for this shit. I'm gonna watch it on Tubi.
So
I am too, and I'm actually gonna turn it on for a minute.
Let me see it through.
God bless you, my child.
yes.
Ronald DeFeo Jr. spent his remaining years in prison, where he repeatedly altered his story about the murders, at times implicating other family members. His shifting accounts and resentment towards his notoriety did little to clarify the true motives behind his actions. DeFeo died in prison in 2021 at the age of 69, leaving behind a legacy intertwined with one of the most infamous murder cases in American history. Despite the confessions and convictions, the Amityville murders remain shrouded in mystery. The precise details of how all 6 victims were killed without resistance and the absence of audible gunshots continue to baffle authorities and the public alike. DeFeo's varying accounts of the night's events only have deepened the enigma. The house at 112 Ocean still stands. However, the address has been changed and exterior alterations to discourage onlookers have been made. Like, they changed the windows. It has seen numerous owners since the Lutzes, none of whom have reported any paranormal activity. Yet the legend of the Amityville Horror persists, fueled by a mixture of historical fact and supernatural lore. Beneath the sensationalized stories and horror adaptations lies the sobering reality of a family destroyed by violence. The DeFeos, who once seemed to embody the American dream, became tragic figures in a narrative overshadowed by tales of hauntings and evil forces. The surviving relatives and the community of Amityville were left to grapple with the aftermath of the crime and its impact on their lives. The Amityville horror, in many forms, continues to capture the imagination of those intrigued by tales of haunted houses and supernatural phenomena. However, it is essential to remember that the true story behind the legend, a story of a deeply troubled family and a series of horrific acts that left a lasting scar on a quiet Long Island town. The real horror of Amityville is not the ghosts and demons of popular culture, but the tragic reality of a family torn apart by violence and the enduring mystery surrounding their deaths. As we reach the end of this chilling episode of Murder and Cocktails, we want to thank you, our fantastic listeners, for joining us on this journey. Your enthusiasm for true crime and mixology makes each episode truly special. Before we wrap up, don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast platform to stay updated on our latest concoctions of crime and cocktails. And of course, share the love by leaving a review. Your feedback keeps the spirits high and the stories flowing. Remember to visit our website, truecrimemeetsmixology.com, for the cocktail recipe of the week, Beach Peach Lemonade, inspired by today's episode, and check out our favorite things. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep those glasses full. Cheers to the mysteries that keeps us coming back for more.
Ooh, that show was good. I can't wait for the next one to come out. Binging on the podcast. Hope true crime never run out. What's gonna happen in the next episode? Nobody don't know. I'm in suspense. This get intense. No turning back now. I'm all in. True crime. We online. Tune in. It's about to go down. True crime. True crime. I'm based on real life events. Every story has two sides.
Telling the truth, telling the lie.